Okay, it's working. Thank goodness. Welcome to the Daily List Report. Okay, it looks like we're back. So 0 days without incident is still correct. I apologize. There was some issue connecting to Facebook. Doesn't matter the details. We're here. I'm so sorry to keep you waiting. Thank you, all of you, for being patient. Welcome to the Daily List Report. We have an exciting episode today. Live definitely keeps you on your toes. That is for sure. Okay, good. Everybody says they see me, so that's fantastic. How's the audio, everybody? So we have a new mic today. The incident I was expecting to fix today was not the stream itself. It was the audio. Hopefully we don't have any clicking going on. And here's the story that I so passionately told just a few moments ago when I thought I was live. I actually went back to our office last night to pick up this microphone because we've had some issues with some clicking in the audio. So hopefully the audio is good right now and there's no clicking. But I'll have to tell you, it's the first time back in the office in 3 weeks. Today marks the 3-week anniversary of us going remote and work from home. So we were fairly early on that. We wanted to make sure to ensure the safety of the team. And the team has done a fantastic job of getting everybody connected and on Zooms and all of that. But I have to tell you, being back at the office, I just missed everybody. And I know we're all struggling with that right now, right? We miss our friends, we miss our colleagues. And being back there, I just sort of sat in the office. No one's been there in 3 weeks and I was all by myself. And I just missed everybody. There was so much nostalgia and so many memories, and we're forging new memories and we're making the best of it. But I have to tell you, last night was difficult. I put on a shirt today. Wendy, if you're listening, you'll recognize this. It says, "What else?" It was a shirt made for me by my team to commemorate some inside baseball moment. And I just, it was a difficult night. It was a difficult night. And I know that we all have our good times and our bad times. And I would encourage you, it was helpful for me to just think back and remember a lot of the memories that we built there. And importantly, because I'm someone who really always looks forward, the new memories that we're building now and how different this time is, but how it's enabled us to do things like this show and to stay connected in new and weird ways. We did a drive-by birthday for my nephew a couple nights ago, and it's different, but it's special in its own way. So I wanted to share that all with you. We have a really, really great show for you today. We've got Rod Shiva, who is our Director of Customer Growth. He's actually an real estate agent himself as well, and so he brings a really unique perspective. Tomorrow, we have Scott Brickson coming on. So for those of you who read our Sunday edition of the Daily List Report, there's a section in there called the Eclectic Economist. And in the Eclectic Economist, Scott, who is an economist, covers everything that you need to know from the week. And he provides some analysis and thoughtfulness. And tomorrow he's going to come on the show and he's going to talk about what's happening in the economy. He's going to answer any questions that you have. He's going to make sure that we understand some of the big concepts so that you can process this and perhaps even more importantly, that you can provide leadership to the people in your life that matter, right? So this is a unique time. We're going to talk about empathy when Rod comes on the line. But what a great time it is to be there for your sphere, for those who were looking to move or looking to sell, looking to buy. And right now, they don't know what to do. They have a lot of questions. And so tomorrow's episode is going to be great. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to cover, as we always do, some of the daily headlines. So here's what we're tracking today. First and foremost, today is World Autism Awareness Day. And by the way, yesterday was Census Day. So if you didn't fill out the census, it's because you didn't watch the show yesterday when we reminded you to complete your census to make sure that you get the representation you need in the House and to make sure that you get the federal funding that you need in your state and local governments. So stay tuned and please listen every day for these important headlines. So today is World Autism Day, Awareness Day. Thousands of buildings and places across the world are going to be lit up blue for that. There's people in my life who've been affected by autism. So, let's not forget to take time to reach out to those people. And this is a great time and a great opportunity to do that. The second one, if you guys watched episode 2 on Tuesday with Justin Aragon, who's our head of legal, we talked about the CARES Act. And so tomorrow is the day. So the rush for the $350 billion in small business loans, it starts tomorrow. So go back and watch Tuesday's episode if you missed it. We also put a presentation deck linked in the Facebook comments that gives you some actionable things that you should be doing today in advance of tomorrow. Check for your local SBA office online. Download the forms. All of this stuff is linked in that document. Make sure you have your 3 previous years personal and business federal income tax returns. Get your business license, your certificates, get all of that stuff ready so that you can participate in this. And this does apply to sole proprietorships. This applies to those of you who are business owners. There's a lot of great content in that episode. Make sure that, that if you're being affected by this, and I'm sure you are, that you get access to those funds. The third thing that we're tracking is interesting. They're looking at the next stimulus package. It's inevitable, and there's a lot of debate and discussion around what that is. Obviously, our position is that we want to see that money, being deployed now. Whatever changes they agree to, they have to have an immediate impact because people are trying to pay their bills. One of the interesting pieces that relates to property that's being proposed in that is actually a rollback of property tax deduction. So there is a federal cap of $10,000 per year for your deductions for property taxes. Obviously, at $10,000, this is going to disproportionately affect certain states. So California, New York, New Jersey are likely to be the biggest beneficiaries of this. And as we talked about yesterday, there's some talk about pushing forward with infrastructure projects like 5G. Those things are simply going to take time. So we're going to keep tracking this as it unfolds. And that's all happening now. Jobless claims, as I think most of you probably have tracked by now, are up. So they doubled to about 6.6 million last week, according to the Labor Department. And so, the hope is that the monies that are about to be deployed can be deployed quickly and get to the hands of the people who are going to need to pay their bills, and then we can get through all of this as quickly as possible. So those are the headlines we're tracking. Today's episode, I implored you all to share. If you like this content, if you think this content is good, please, please, please share it. This is a labor of love for us, and we want to get this information out to as many agents as possible. We think it's really valuable. If you do too, please consider inviting your friends, your agents to the Facebook group. Please consider sharing these videos, the Daily List Report, with them, because we think there's some really good content here. So with that, we're gonna transition now, and I apologize for the issues that we had this morning. So we're gonna bring Rod Shiva on. Rod, I'm gonna embarrass him just a little bit here, and let me make sure I actually am prepared to bring him in. So just give me 1 second here to make sure we can see his lovely face. Yep, I got Rod here now. We had to reconnect everybody. So Rod is one of the most passionate guys around. He is a relentless employee at ListReports, and he spends his days talking to agents, talking to loan officers. He's an agent himself, and so he brings a level of knowledge and perspective to the company that we deeply appreciate. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually bring Rod on right now. So Rod, why don't you say hi to everybody?
Hey, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Hey, Rod, thanks for joining today. So let's just get a little background. I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to get to know you a little bit. So why don't we start here? How did you get into real estate, Rod?
Yeah, real estate has always been a little bit of a family ordeal. My mom has actually been licensed for about 30 years, and she introduced me to real estate about 10 years ago. I got licensed about 8 years ago, and then I got my broker's license about 4 years ago. So just a family ordeal.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So, one of the things, Rod, that I know about you is you really, really, really love the details, right? We've talked about, oh, I got the wrong cameras on. Give me a second, guys. I'm so sorry. There we go. One of the things that I've come to love about you, Rod, is how much you appreciate the details. Like, you're tenacious when it comes to a transaction. What do you attribute that to? Why are you so passionate about real estate? What is it about real estate that's interesting to you?
I mean, the whole thing is fascinating. I think it's a few different elements. So in regards to just real estate as a whole, it's really special to be able to help someone with one of the most important transactions that they're going to do in their entire life as a whole. And as you mentioned on the details, like, there's a little bit of an art and a little bit of dance to an entire transaction taking place. So, somebody doesn't check the right boxes or know all those different nuances. I kind of really enjoy learning about those aspects and finding out, like, where we could take this. At the end of the day, getting to the point of actually, like, closing a transaction is like one of the best feelings ever. But there's definitely a lot that goes into it behind the scenes, and it's just something I nerd out on.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Rod. So, when we were preparing for today's show, what we talked about was how interesting it is, again, that you play a key role in a real estate technology company, and you're also a real estate agent, right? And so there's a level of understanding and empathy that you have, which is tremendous. I'm going to get you to react to something that our head of communications sent to me actually just this morning. And I just think it's really powerful. And so, this is a live daily show, so this stuff is topical. This was a post made in Lab Code Agents, which is, we're friends with them. It's a really great group of people. And this is from Jonas Helbert. So bear with me. This one's a little bit long, but I think this is important, Rod. It says, for those of you still showing homes to put food on the table for your family, don't let the mob think you're a monster. This is not a black and white scenario. Although some of us have healthy savings to get through tough times, others are not so fortunate. The person you are calling a monster or selfish could be the person trying to keep up their mortgage or rent. Some could be struggling just to get next week's groceries. Some folks have no choice and have to make a move, period. They could be in a month-long month-long pending escrow situation and will be homeless without relocation or real estate. And the post sort of goes on, right? But the message here was, that it's easier for us to be empathetic to people's situations that we understand, and it's harder for us to be empathetic to people's situations that we don't understand, right? And I think that right now, because this is such a unique situation, such a unique time, is we're seeing the full gamut, right? We're seeing people make tremendous sacrifices to support local businesses and to be on the front lines of healthcare, right? Treating these patients. And we're seeing others who are in a level of fear, and some who are turning to humor, right? And we've seen in some of these message boards and chat groups, some people being angry or disrespectful, or what Jonas here calls the mob, right? And so, do you have any message or any thoughts for the agents? Everybody's in a different situation, Rod, right? So, how are you processing this as it relates to your real estate business?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you take everything in, you have to realize that everyone is struggling. I mean, whether it's dealing with layoffs, pay cuts, death, I mean, illness, it goes on. So just knowing that people are struggling, I think one of the best things that all of us can do is just be human. It's the best thing we can do on earth right now, just for agents individually and for their business, to be quite frank as well. So like, for themselves, there isn't a better time where you're going to get a great sense of fulfillment just helping people out, checking in on them. I mean, it's how you make positive contributions in someone's life. And, there's so many people to check in on right now, all of your family, your friends, different colleagues that you've met over the years, all your past clients. So, you will feel great knowing that you're checking in and helping people out where you can. And that directly ties in also to your business, just as an agent, because, there's one thing that none of these lead generation companies or home search tools will ever be able to do, and that is replace the human to human bonds that we have. If you ask any truly successful real estate agent, I think a high majority of them are going to tell you they have a built up referral base. And that's because these agents took the time to show care, compassion, reliability, and results in some kind of extraordinary fashion that these agents now have the referral business that kind of comes to them.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's a great point, Rod. When we talked about prepping for the show, right, we really talked about a couple of different messages, and one of the ones you just touched on is the humanistic side of this, right, the personal relationship side of this, and that all of you listening right now know people who were in the process of thinking about selling their home or in the process of thinking about buying their home. And that's on hold right now with a great deal of uncertainty. They don't know what it means for how long this is going to last. They don't know what this means for what's going to happen to home prices. They don't know what their options are. So, what a great time to sort of be a human, right? And to be there for them and to help calm their nerves, to provide leadership and advice. It's what we hope to accomplish with this show, right? This isn't, if you watch the first show, we talked about how we're not marketers. This is not in our DNA. This is not actually a comfort zone for us. But it felt for us like an opportunity to provide some level of leadership, right, around this crisis, and to bring on experts like Rod and everyone else that we've had on to talk about how we're processing this and what we're doing this. So Rod, I think that was the first one that we talked about, right? Was, you know, reach out to these people and be an ear for them, listen to them. And we talked about a couple other things. You know, we've seen so much innovation, if you will, around, you know, replacements for certain live events, right? So game nights maybe that you can host. There are other ways, and the internet seems filled right now with some of these opportunities. But the other piece of this, and Rod, I'm going to have you touch on this one now, is likely you have more time on your hands right now than you did before, right? And not all agents are going to take advantage of the situation in the same way. So us as a company, just from ListReports perspective, our mindset in this time is, how do we come out of this better than we entered it? That's how we're thinking about this. So we are building more product than we've ever built before. We're working harder than we've ever worked before, right? So rather than sort of sitting on the sidelines and saying, okay, let's wait to see what happens to us, we're trying to control our destiny. And not every agent is going to do that. Not every company is going to do that, but you have an opportunity to do that. So what are you doing with this extra time? And Rod, I think you had some tips here and some things that the audience could be using some of this time for right now. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's definitely a couple things that come to mind. The first thing is this is probably one of the best times to invest in yourself. You know, there's got to be things that you can go and do research on, industry related items that you've been curious about that you haven't just maybe like followed through with. There's different coaching stuff that's out there, plenty of stuff to check out on YouTube. You know, you can knock out your continuing education. I'm literally doing that right now. Or, you know, if you had that real estate book that you just haven't picked up or you haven't finished reading because you've just been too busy, you know, now's the time to invest in yourself. And then the second thing is like, get social. Right now, I mean, before all this occurred, we were already attached to our cell phones. Like COVID-19 has amplified that threefold. So, you know, there's lots of interactions that could be taking place. And I think this is a great time to ask yourself, are you really embracing social media? Knowing that right now, like, are all your social feeds set up? Do you have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn? Are you active on them? Have you posted something there recently? When was the last time you spruced it up? And even outside of formal social media, like, there's many ways of getting social right now, just with different people that you know, building rapport, whether that's through Zoom meetings or just like the social challenges, or just even Netflix parties. Because I mean, we all could be gathered around Tiger King right now. It's calling us all to watch it.
Huh. That's amazing. So that was actually a really good segue, Rod, because what we want from these shows is we really want them to be actionable, right? And so in your unique role as a real estate agent, but also you know, intimately tied to this company and the products, you know, we talked about going over a couple things. So I'm actually going to put on screen right now for you, Rod, just our shareables product, right? So you touched on social as a great opportunity. So make sure that all of your feeds are set up, your accounts are in order, they're cleaned up. You know, this is a great time to do that. And then make sure you don't stop sharing content to your sphere, right, Rod?
Absolutely. You know, as it relates to shareables specifically, you know, I think one of the things as an agent is the average agent does 2.5 transactions per year. So there's many times where you're between clients and or you don't have a buyer right now, or you don't have a listing right now, and you could be making your social media presence better in the matter of seconds each day. 5 days a week, we're delivering a custom piece of social media ready shareable content with a ready-made caption. And so this will allow you to engage your audience in a meaningful way when you're trying to find that next person. And you should especially be doing that right now, knowing that it's readily available, and that's going to be how you're going to find your next person. And once we do get through this, all the pent-up demand, you know, you're going to know who are the first people that you should be calling.
Absolutely. So that was the first tip, right? Is there something that you can do today, right now, when you stop listening to this video, when the show is over? Make sure that your accounts are set up. If you're not creating content, make sure you do that. People are spending more time than ever right now on the internet, right? They're spending more time. Facebook and Instagram, all these guys are getting crushed right now because people have a lot of free time. So make sure that you're a part of that process. So Rod, there's another thing that we talked about as an actionable step. So talk a little bit about what you might be doing right now with your database, right? Some people have really tight databases and they're all organized. Some people don't have them organized. This might be a good time and opportunity to get that stuff all cleaned up into one place. So what should they do here, Rod?
Yeah, generally speaking, agents sometimes I think we all have either formal databases or informal databases. And by that, I mean, there's lots of people that we know, but we don't really act on. One of the best tools that we have here at ListReports is actually one of our most underutilized tools. And this is the My List Report alert specifically. And for those of you that aren't familiar with what this is, I mean, this is a best-in-class tool for you to put any homeowner on, and you can do it right now. And it only takes seconds to set up. And it's a very clean once-a-month report for a homeowner that tells them things they actually care about: the value of their home, how much equity they have in, what cash-out options look like, rental value, Airbnb values, a ton of stuff. And when I think about a tool like that, knowing that it's a set it and forget it, just once a month, this is going to be delivered to any homeowner that you know. This is how you automatically nurture and prepare for the future transactions that are going to come. And I really want to emphasize doing this right now, because remember, every action that happens also has a positive ripple effect. And I talk about this all the time because every time people have family gatherings or parties and things like that, everyone's always talking about all kinds of different stuff. And let's be honest, real estate is a hot topic everywhere that you go. So you want to be top of mind when people are having these conversations. And here's a tool that once a month is automatically delivered to all kinds of different homeowners that has your face on there. You're providing value to their lives. And they can very easily have an extension of value from you just taking a few seconds right now and setting that up.
Yeah, no, that's really good advice. And I'm just going to pull up for those of you who are watching. You just go into the My Lead section of your product. You click this button in the upper right that says Add Lead. You put in name and information. You select My List Report Alert right here, the first option. That information, you can get all the detail on when they were sent and what actions were taken, and any inquiries that come out as a result of that. So I think that's tremendous. Okay, fantastic, Rod. So I'm gonna put you on the spot here. You told me a joke yesterday.
Oh, no.
So look, we're all trying to make the most of the situation. The internet's been filled with these things. So Rod, take it away.
All right, guys, bear with me here. It's too cheesy, but the joke is, why did the realtor cross the road? Why,
Rod? Why did the realtor cross the road?
He was doing a showing and wanted to make sure that he had enough space between him and his client. Maximum cheese. That should not have made it in here, Randy.
It absolutely made it in here. It's part of what makes you who you are, Rod. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. Hey, in true work from home fashion, someone's mowing the lawn right outside my window right now. So we're gonna get to the fun bits at the end of this. Hopefully it's not too noisy. Hey, Rod, say goodbye to everybody. And,
bye, everyone.
Thank you for your time. All right, fantastic. So we are going to wrap up the show because you might be hearing a lawnmower outside, but we're going to do something fun. So here's our fun segment of the day. Like many of you, I imagine, maybe all of us, I simply have no idea what day it is. So Trevor Noah feels the same way.
And after spending all this time at home, the big question I have is, what day is it? Does anyone even know? Well, to help me figure it out, I called my good friends, Roy Wood Jr., Michael Costa, and Dulce Sloan, and I think we figured it out.
Tough question, but I would go with Friday. It feels late in the week, plus I'm out of clean underwear at this point.
No. It's gotta be Sunday because I'm not in church, but I feel a little guilty about it.
All of y'all are still stuck in the old school. I don't even operate in concepts of days anymore. To me, This week is just one 168-hour-long day. I call it Monday to Friday Saturday.
Monday what, Roy?
Monday to Friday Saturday.
Okay, look.
Amazing, right? Monday to Friday Saturday. So I don't know what day it is either, but here's what I do know. I know that we've had a great first week of these shows. I know that tomorrow Scott Brixton's going to be on to talk about the economy and finance. He is a world-class expert, and you're not going to want to miss that. I also know that tomorrow the SBA stuff starts to happen, so make sure that you're ready for that. Make sure that you're applying for these loans and this relief. That's what it's there for. It's there for you to apply for it, to utilize that money to protect yourself, your families, your teams, and your businesses. So please do that. So with that, we're going to sign off, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. Please consider sharing this. And as I did yesterday, I love this. Stay classy.